At my wedding, I thought the biggest drama would be a late DJ or a drunk uncle. Instead, my own mom sabotaged everything with a betrayal I'll never forget. Right in front of my husband's family, she dropped a truth bomb that left everyone gasping. Tess whispered. My groom froze, and my entire day turned into a nightmare. Was this a revenge, or just cruelty disguised as honesty? So, I got married last month. It was supposed to be the happiest day of my life, a white dress, beautiful garden ceremony, the whole Pinterest dream come to life. But instead, my wedding became the stage for the most humiliating betrayal I've ever experienced. The main player, my mom Betty. She's 37, young to have a daughter my age and 21, and she loves to remind people of it. She's always been competitive with me, in a weird way. Growing up, people would joke that we looked like sisters. I thought it was flattering at first, but as I got older, it started feeling like she was obsessed with proving she was still the pretty one. The morning of the wedding, I could already sense tension. My bridesmaids were getting ready in the bridal suite, laughing, sipping mimosas, while Mom kept barging in with snide comments. Oh honey, that dress is nice. Jamie, it doesn't flatter you figure the way mine did on my wedding day. Are you sure about that hairstyle? It looks a little dated. I brushed it off, thinking it was just nerves. But my maid of honour, Louis, my cousin, 24, shot me a look like your mom is on one today. The ceremony itself was beautiful. My fiancé, now husband, Daniel, was waiting under this gorgeous floral arch. The music swelled, I walked down the aisle, and for a moment I thought everything was perfect. Then came the reception. That's when things started spiralling. My dad, Stephen, he and Mom split years ago, gave a heartfelt toast about watching me grow up. People were tearing up. Then it was Mom's turn. I was nervous, but also hopeful that maybe she'd surprise me with something touching. She raised her glass, looked around dramatically, and said, well, I wasn't sure I should say this, but honesty is always best on a wedding day. My stomach dropped. Daniel reached for my hand. Then she smirked and said, Daniel, sweetheart, I just hope you can handle what you're getting into, because my daughter hasn't always been faithful. The entire room went dead silent. Forks clinked against plates. Someone gasped. Mom, what the hell are you talking about? I snapped, my face burning. She shrugged innocently. Oh, I guess it slipped out. Remember when you were studying late last year? Let's just say I know who you were really with. Daniel's face went pale. His mother's jaw literally dropped. And just like that, the whispers started, little ripples of gossip across the room. I swear I saw my uncle pull out his phone like he was recording the whole thing. My perfect wedding had just turned into a public trial, and my own mother was the one putting me on the stand. I wish I could say I handled it gracefully, but the second those words left my mum's mouth, I felt my entire body ignite. My face was hot, my hands were shaking, and all I could hear was the blood rushing in my ears. Mom, that's a straight-up lie. I yelled, my voice cracking. Everyone was staring. Desks shifted uncomfortably in their chairs, folks frozen halfway to mouths. Daniel looked at me with this wide-eyed, shell-shocked expression, like he was suddenly questioning everything. That broke me more than her words. Lily jumped in, bless her soul. Betty, are you serious right now? You gonna stand up here at your daughter's wedding and pull this crap? Mom tilted her head and smirked like she was the victim. I'm just saying, people deserve honesty. Marriage is about truth. My dad stood up, his face red. Betty, sit down before you embarrass yourself even more. No, Stephen, don't pretend like you're so innocent, she shot back, venom in her voice. You were always blind to what your daughter was up to, just like you were blind to what ruined our marriage. Now the whispers turned into a low roar. My husband's aunt leaned over to another guest, whispering loud enough that I caught, this family is a disaster. I wanted to scream. Instead, I turned to Daniel. Please, you know she's making this up, right? He opened his mouth, closed it, then finally whispered. I don't know what to think right now. That sentence gutted me. I grabbed his hand. Daniel, I've never, ever been unfaithful to you. She's lying because she can't stand that today isn't about her. Meanwhile, Mom kept talking like she was delivering some TD talk. Maybe Daniel should ask you about those late-night car rides with Jason, she sneered. Jason, my coworker. A guy coupled because we lived on the same block. Nothing happened ever. But the way she said it, twisting it into something filthy, made me want to sink into the floor. Daniel's dad cleared his throat, trying to break the tension. Maybe this isn't the time or place. Exactly, Lily snapped. It's not the time or place because Betty made it the time and place. At this point, half the reception was either whispering, filming, or pretending to look at their salads while clearly eavesdropping. My dream day was officially a circus. I couldn't take it anymore. I stood up, slammed my glass on the table so hard it cracked, and shouted, enough. Everyone froze. Even the DJ cut the background music mid-song. I turned to my mom, tears running down my face. You've hated me since I was old enough to outshine you, and now you're trying to ruin the one day that was supposed to be about me and Daniel. I will never forgive you for this. Her face twitched just for a second, like she realized she'd gone too far. But instead of backing down, she scoffed and muttered, ungrateful brat. That was the moment I knew. My mom wasn't just sabotaging my wedding, she was sabotaging our relationship forever. After I yelled at Mom, there was a tense silence that felt like it lasted an eternity. Guests were frozen, unsure whether to intervene or just watch the chaos unfold. Daniel gently pulled me aside, away from the crowd. We ducked behind the dessert table, where chocolate fountains and wedding cupcakes now seemed like absurd props in a soap opera. Betty, is she serious? Daniel asked, his voice low but trembling. His eyes were full of hurt and confusion. I swear, she's lying, she's twisting everything. Jason is just a coworker. I've never cheated on you, ever. I could feel tears prickling at the corners of my eyes again. She's done this before. She always finds a way to make me look bad in front of everyone. He ran a hand through his hair, pacing slightly. I want to believe you, but she said it so confidently, and everyone they heard it. I don't know how much I can control what they think. I grabbed his hands and shook him gently. Daniel, listen, you know me, you know who I am. Don't let her poison this. Today is about us. He nodded slowly, but I could see the doubt still lingering. I hated seeing him like this. My mom had managed to plant seeds of mistrust in just a few minutes. Meanwhile, Mom was circulating the room, whispering to my aunts and uncles, smirking every time someone gasped at something she said. My dad tried to intervene a few times, but she would cut him off with a sarcastic, Or Stephen, always trying to play hero. You were the worst husband. Remember. Lily came up behind me and hissed, "You need a plan. She's not stopping, and the photographers are snapping pics of her every smug face." I clenched my fist. I didn't want to escalate further, but I also couldn't just sit there and let her ruin everything. "Okay," I whispered. "We need to call her bluff publicly, but carefully. I can't let her frame me as the bad guy." Before I could formulate exactly how, Mom leaned over the dessert table, pointing at Daniel with that smirk. "Sweetie, I hope you really think you know what you're marrying into, because there's a lot you haven't seen." That was it. My blood boiled. I stepped forward, taking a deep breath. "Everyone, can I have your attention for just a second?" The room went quiet. All eyes were on me. Mom's smirk faltered slightly. "I want to clear something up. My mother, Betty, has been spreading lies tonight, accusing me of things that are 100% untrue. I've never cheated on Daniel, and I never would. This isn't about honesty. This is about her jealousy. This is her trying to steal my day, my happiness, and my relationship." Gasps filled the room again, but this time it wasn't for Mom. It was for me. Daniel squeezed my hand, eyes softening with relief. I wasn't done. I locked eyes with Mom. "I'm done letting you manipulate everyone with your stories. You're not ruining my life. Not today. Not ever." For a moment she looked shocked, like she didn't expect me to fight back in public. Then she laughed a cold, bitter laugh and said, "We'll see about that, sweetie." I knew she wasn't done. Not by a long shot. After my public declaration, the tension in the room became almost unbearable. Guests were divided, some whispering in shock at Mom's audacity, others leaning over to reassure Daniel and me. I felt like I was standing on a tightrope, trying not to fall into complete chaos. Mom, of course, wasn't going to back down. She leaned against the cake table, arms crossed, and gave me a look that could freeze water. "Oh, so now I'm the villain, huh? Let's see how long that narrative lasts when I tell everyone about your little secret." I froze. My heart skipped a beat. "What secret?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady, though I felt my stomach knot. She smirked, her eyes darting to the crowd. "The one about your engagement, about how you really started dating Daniel. Did you think I wouldn't tell? People deserve to know he wasn't exactly your first choice." Lily hissed from behind me. "She's lying. That's not true." But the damage was already being done. Guests were murmuring, glancing between us. I could feel the doubt creeping into even Daniel's eyes, the one place I thought I was safe. My dad, finally losing patience, stepped forward. "Betty, that's enough. You're ruining this day. For everyone." Mom waved him off like he was just background noise. "Stephen, always protecting her. I can't believe you're still blind after all these years." I wanted to scream. My hand shook. My wedding gown felt like a prison. But I knew I had to fight smart, not just vent. I took a deep breath, turned to the crowd, and spoke louder this time. "Everyone, listen, what my mother is saying is false. I love Daniel. I choose him, willingly and happily. She's twisting things because she's jealous. If you know me at all, you know this is the truth." Some people nodded. Some still whispered. But I saw Daniel's shoulders relax slightly. That small gesture gave me a spark of hope. Then Mom decided to escalate further. She walked over to the microphone. Yes, we still had our wedding MC, and grabbed it like she was taking the stage. "You all need to know who your bride really is. Don't let her sweet words fool you," behind the smile. She leaned in close to the microphone. "She's hiding a whole other side." Asks. Phones out. People recording. My nightmare was officially going viral in real time at my own wedding. Daniel's face went pale again, and I felt him squeeze my hand. "Breathe," he whispered. "We'll get through this." I knew he was right, but I couldn't stay quiet anymore. I grabbed the mic back from Mom, my hand shaking but my voice firm. "No, enough. You will not turn this wedding into your personal revenge show. I won't let you ruin my marriage. This ends now." For a second, she just stared at me, lips pressed tight. Then she laughed, a short, harsh laugh that made my blood boil. "Oh, honey, this is far from over." That was the climax. I realized in that moment that Mom wasn't just trying to sabotage my wedding, she was testing boundaries, seeing how far she could push before people called her out. And I knew I couldn't just survive this day. I had to win it back. By this point, the room was a mix of shocked whispers, stifled gasps, and the occasional camera click. My mom, Betty, had fully embraced the role of villain, pacing the reception hall like she owned the chaos she'd created. Every word out of her mouth was designed to humiliate me, and I could feel the weight of everyone's eyes on me, some sympathetic, some curious, some entertained. Daniel stayed by my side, his grip tight on my hand. I could see he was trying to keep calm for both our sakes, but I knew the lingering doubt was still there. I needed to act fast before Mom's lies took root. I took a deep breath and addressed the room again. "Everyone, please, I know what you heard, but it's not true. My mother has made a career out of twisting the truth for attention. Daniel, the person you're marrying, is me, and I love him. That's the only truth that matters today." Lily stepped forward, her eyes blazing. "And let me add, I've known this girl since she was 14. Never once did she ever behave the way Betty is claiming. She's lying, plain and simple." A few relatives murmured their agreement, and I felt a small surge of hope. But then, Mom smirked and leaned in. "Oh, really, Lily? Don't be so naive. You think you've seen it all. Let's not forget the time she almost ruined Aunt Carol's wedding by sneaking around behind everyone's back." That was it. My patience snapped. I grabbed the mic again, this time my voice shaking with anger and tears. "Enough. I will not let you drag every moment of my life through the mud today. This is my wedding. Daniel is my husband. You are done controlling this day, done." There was a stunned silence. People were frozen, unsure if I just screamed or declared war. Daniel hugged me tightly, whispering, "I'm with you, always." That tiny reassurance grounded me. Then, my dad stepped forward, finally taking a clear stand. "Betty, you've crossed every line today. You are being cruel and selfish. If you don't leave now, I will escort you out myself." Her eyes flashed with fury, but she didn't move. Then my uncle, who had been quietly observing, chimed in. "Stephen's right. You've embarrassed this family long enough. Step outside, or we'll all make sure you do." For a moment, I thought she might throw a tantrum, but then she muttered under her breath, "Fine, enjoy your fake happiness." And she stormed out, leaving the room in stunned silence. I collapsed into Daniel's arms, shaking. Tears of anger and relief poured down my face. "It's finally over," I whispered. "Not entirely," he replied softly. "But today, we survived her, and that's what matters." Lily hugged me, whispering, "You were amazing." You stood up to her like a boss. I looked around the room. People were starting to offer smiles, some raising their glasses in solidarity. My wedding was far from perfect now, but at least for the first time that night it felt like my day again. And I knew one thing for certain: Betty may have tried to sabotage my wedding, but she had underestimated me. Once Mom stormed out, the tension in the room didn't immediately vanish. It lingered like smoke from a fire that had just been put out. Daniel and I retreated to a corner, holding hands tightly, trying to process the whirlwind that had just happened. "Are you okay?" he asked softly, brushing a stray hair from my face. I nodded, though my chest still felt tight. "I will be. I can't believe she actually did that at my wedding." Lily, ever the protective cousin, whispered fiercely, "People are starting to side with you. I've overheard aunts and uncles telling others not to listen to her lies." He handled it like a champ. Daniel's mom, Mrs. Thompson, approached cautiously. Her face was a mix of concern and curiosity. "Sweetheart, I'm so sorry you had to go through that. That woman really crossed the line, but you handled it beautifully." I forced a small smile. "Thank you. It hurts. I thought today would be about celebrating us, not defending ourselves from my own mother." Meanwhile, my dad pulled me aside. "I'm so proud of you," he said, his voice low. "I should have stepped in sooner, but you used to do grand. That's all I could have asked for." The guests were slowly starting to relax, conversations picking up again. I noticed some family members whispering behind Mom's back, expressing disbelief and even sympathy for me. That gave me a bit of relief. Maybe her sabotage hadn't worked entirely. Then Daniel suggested, "Why don't we try to salvage the night? Let's just focus on our guests and our marriage. We can't control her actions, but we can control what we do next." I nodded. "You're right, let's reclaim our wedding." We returned to the dance floor and slowly, the music picked up again. The DJ tried to lighten the mood, and after a few hesitant steps, guests started joining in. Some smiled at us, clinking glasses, sharing small jokes about how wild the night had become. I caught a glimpse of my mom through the window, standing by the garden fence, arms crossed. I felt a pang of sadness mixed with anger. She had chosen drama over family, and I realized something important. I couldn't change her, and I couldn't let her control my life. As Daniel and I danced, I whispered, "We survived her. We really did." He held me closer. "We did, and I promise, no matter what, we'll face the rest together. Let her be the villain. We'll be the ones who remember today as our start." The night slowly regained some of its magic. S laughed, some wiped tears from their eyes, and for a few moments, it felt almost normal again. Almost. Yet, in the back of my mind, I knew Mom's betrayal wasn't going to vanish overnight. But for now, Daniel and I had reclaimed our wedding, our joy, and our future, and no amount of sabotage could take that away. The night ended with a small, quiet moment between just the two of us, away from prying eyes and gossipy relatives. We shared a toast, smiling through the lingering tension. Our wedding wasn't perfect, but it was ours, and that mattered more than anything. The next morning, the aftermath of the wedding still hung over us like fog. Daniel and I were in the quiet of our hotel suite, nursing hangovers and bruised egos. But we finally had a moment to breathe away from judgmental eyes, whispers, and my mother's chaos. "I can't believe she did all that," Daniel muttered, running a hand through his hair. "At your wedding your day, people are still talking about it." I sighed, leaning back on the bed. "Yeah, but you know what? They're talking about how I stood up to her too. That matters more. I refused to let her narrative define me." We spent the morning calling relatives, trying to smooth things over. My dad, bless him, had already texted Mom, warning her to back off, or he would cut her off entirely. He told us later that he'd had to sit her down and explain that her behaviour had crossed every boundary imaginable. Apparently, she often stormed out of his house, muttering something about being misunderstood. Lily came over mid-morning to help me organise thank you messages and recount the day's chaos. "Honestly, if she thinks she won this, she's delusional," she said. "Everyone who matters knows the truth, and Daniel knows it too. That's all that matters." Daniel agreed. "Exactly, and I've never been more certain about this. If your mom can't see that, it's her loss." By afternoon, my aunts and uncles started calling, offering support, apologising for witnessing the drama. Some even admitted they were embarrassed by Mom's behaviour. My cousin Nate joked, "I'll never attend a wedding without popcorn again if she's involved." We all laughed, though it was the kind of laughter that eases tension after a storm. Later, I finally received a text from Mom. It was short. "Kurt, we'll talk when you're ready." I didn't reply. For the first time, I realised that I didn't have to respond, didn't have to validate her, and most importantly, didn't have to let her control my life or my marriage. That evening, Daniel and I had a quiet dinner alone. We toasted to surviving the chaos, to love, and to the future we were going to build together, one free from manipulation. I also reflected on the family dynamics. Mom's sabotage revealed cracks I hadn't fully acknowledged: her jealousy, her need for attention, and the toxic patterns I needed to protect myself from. But I also realised the strength of my support system: Daniel, Lily, my dad, and even relatives who had our back. That mattered far more than her drama. As the sun set, painting the sky in shades of pink and orange, I felt a sense of closure. My wedding day hadn't been perfect. It had been chaotic, stressful, and emotionally exhausting. But in a way, it was perfect. Because we had faced betrayal, humiliation, and sabotage head-on, and we'd come out stronger, united, and ready to start our marriage on our own terms. I knew one thing for certain: Mom's betrayal may have left scars, but it would never define me or my marriage. And that, finally, was enough.